Hi, my name is Krista. Today we are water marbling 2 easy designs. So that one there. So we're going to create these arches and then these straight lines through, okay? So, I don't remember if I did this just now, but we're going to do it again. It's better to do it again as opposed to skipping it so that your paint opens evenly. Ooh, I said I was going to do that indigo as the base. So here she comes. See, when we used her in our last one, she didn't open very much, but now she's a perfect background color. She's got little pigments that just haven't opened, or so they might leave us little cracks in our design, but we'll have to see. It's always a guessing game how things are going to turn out. I love a good bossy color. So that one was sea glass. This is dark blue. All my colors I mix myself. You can just buy sets or you can buy fluid paint, but I make my own paint from what's it called? Heavy Body Paint. And that tutorial is coming. It's on the list. Here is Hook Green. Okay, so we've got a really good saturation of color. We're gonna do our first movement with our 1-inch tool. I'm just gonna go down the center. I love that. Never gets old. Just never gets old. Because these tools are all ones that we made, just be really gentle when you're wiping them. So you can see I've got that arch here, and then now I'm going to create these lines, really thick, about 3 inches apart from each other. There we go. Yeah. All right, so we're ready to print her. So you can see that indigo that we first put down, that's that tiny little line in there. So your background color doesn't necessarily mean it'll be the most evident when your piece is finally designed and printed. There's a big blob of water on this, so I'm just gonna let that drip off. Making room for some more paper. Okay, so dry fingers when you're touching your paper, because otherwise it will take off the alum. We just want dry fingers. All right, so bendy paper. We'll iron it next time. Note to self, iron next time. So we've got our X, that's the back where I did not pre-treat it. Now because I've got size, I could go on an angle. I really love this and this, so I'm gonna kind of capture that. I sunk it, that's okay. Don't tell anybody, they'll never know. Here she goes. Wow, beautiful. Very vibrant. And that's a big piece too, is your colors are always gonna look way more vibrant printed than they do on the tray. Especially over time, you'll notice that your gel takes on that color. So for example, day 1, it's nice and clear. Day 2, if you kept it and set it aside, I always find it tends to turn like a blue or a purple tone. All right, we're gonna rinse her. It's really pretty colors. Beautiful. So pretty. All right. All right, next one up. Okay, so we did a colored background. Now this next one we're gonna print onto brown paper. So we're gonna use this as our inspiration. So this one has that galget, and then we did a free hand through it. So we're gonna do that one as our inspiration. I think I'm gonna do it on white. Okay, and I think we're just gonna do 2 colors. We're gonna do blue and sea glass. Now you can go with as simple of a palette as you want, but you can get contrast by layering those colors. So you can go back inside those original droplets. For example, I've put down my sea glass, and now I'm gonna go inside and beside it. And then I can come back inside that blue and see how it's gonna push that blue open. It's gonna go whoop. So we go from having that big blob of blue just to the rim. Okay, and then I can do that again. I can do that as many times as I want. But you'll notice if a color is still opening and you add a fresh drop, it's gonna squish it rather than allow it to open. So you can see this, I don't know if you can see it, the sea glass was still opening, so you can see it's pushing and reshaping this, but now the blue is opening and making room for itself. It's really interesting how all the paint behaves so different. Okay, I like that. All right, so lighting my paint. And now we're ready to go. So we're gonna use our 1 inch, no, a 2 inch rake. Yeah. And I'm gonna go through straight as I can. And then those lines that I'm making, I'm gonna move it over to 1 inch to the center of those lines and go back through. Okay. And you could make those lines finer by doing that same movement this direction. Should we try it? Let's try it. But I'm gonna use a freehand stick instead. So if your rake is 2 inches, okay, the next line is gonna be in the center. So when I do it freehand, I'm just gonna go 1 inch. So I'm gonna do this row, and then this row, and then this row, back and forth. That's what I'm making. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna move my stick over 1 inch and go back and through. See how much more finer those lines are? So every time you pull a tool through, you're thinning your lines out. Not gonna wreck anything, but it's gonna make everything finer every time you pull a tool through. Colors don't mix, they don't bleed into each other. Wow, that's pretty. Okay, and that was just 2 colors. That was just sea glass, or 3. White at the base, dark blue, and sea glass. So it can be as complicated or as simple as you want it to be. So now I'm gonna go this way, but with a wiggle. So this nice big slow wiggle through. Because I have space, I'm gonna do 3 of those. 1 on each corner. Now I probably won't print it on the edges, but what if I do? I wanna have something pretty going on. Okay, so then my next part is this. This is just these little swirls throughout the piece. So where I got this little air pocket, I can change that by re-swirling it. Okay, or I could have just accepted that I had an air pocket. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Sometimes you're gonna get these interesting things that happen and you'll either love them or not, but there we go. All right, down she goes. Beautiful. Printed she is. All right, let's see what sticks. Beauty. Now, see how she behaves when she gets rinsed. My tongue out probably. My dad does that. He goes when he's thinking or when he's trying to do something really hard. All right, good thing I have all that. All right. You can see all that excess glue that was sitting on the surface. Wow, that's really pretty. Wow. Oh, that's really pretty. And you know, you're gonna have I have some fingerprints there. I have an area that didn't pick up, maybe because it was an air pocket. This is probably just didn't touch enough. This is the paper moving as I laid it on. So, you know, there is definitely some skill to doing paper and getting a really clean, crisp print.